Gooners, welcome to Cannon Fodder TV and in the North Bank, the big Sunday show once again, and joined by a stranger. He's been away for a few weeks. Richard, how are you doing?
Thank you. Very good, Paul, and thank you. Yeah, it's been ill, so I've just recovered and nice to get back into it.
There's a lot going around, isn't there? It's not nice, but Desmond, welcome back. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're all good. I heard it was a busy Uganda over the last couple of days, isn't it? With regards to Arsenal and little things going on, little events planned and stuff. So it's quite good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
sure.
good.
Actually, the launch for the Africa Arsenal Fan Festival was on. It was absolutely brilliant, and you'd be surprised how many Arsenal fans are in Uganda. Today I was actually rushing from where I went to watch the game, and the sheer number of Arsenal fans there is just amazing. The love for Arsenal is just crazy, and it's really good to see. Hopefully, that Arsenal Fan Festival will be brilliant. We're expecting, I think, guys from over 10 African countries, and hopefully some guys from Europe and Asia, South America. But I hope it's going to be brilliant. Today was absolutely crazy, and I'm going to be uploading a lot of content, fan reactions and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely brilliant. It was a good day of football. Yeah.
No, good. No, sounds good. We'll have to all get over to Uganda. A little meetup, a little Arsenal meetup one time. So it'll be good. But
That would be great.
there's lots to talk about, isn't there? Obviously, we're going to go into the Europa League first of all on Thursday. The 2-2 draw. Yeah, lots of. Yeah, is it good? Is it bad? Well, look, I look at today's performance and then suddenly think, well, look, we're kind of switching players over just to get some minutes into their bodies, and then the big main event was today, and then we look at that big game on Thursday as well, where there's going to be probably some more changes. So get your stuff on the chat because we know what you like, everyone. Good to see you all, and join us after this little break. Yeah, so God, after a game, and it's always that kind of, you've got that little nice bit of relief, haven't you? Because I don't think we really expected today to have happened the way it happened. I think certainly that early on. I think because obviously the way Fulham have been playing, certainly at home, I think we were expecting it to be a lot tougher. But I think it's testament to how Arsenal play, or have been playing this year, where they come out fast and the football they play can knock anyone off their stride. And look, we got there. It could have been 4 with the offside, which was very marginal. And really good. But Thursday night, obviously going to Portugal and putting out a side to compete against them. Yeah, it would have been nice, obviously, to have got a win. But 2-2, fair result, or was it a disappointment, or what were your thoughts, Richard?
Well, I think my first initial thought when I saw the squad was, well, that's stronger than I thought he would go, considering the fact that we had Trossard, Jesus, and Nketiah out. I thought he went really strong, and or not strong, stronger than I did. I thought he would, and on balance of play, 2-2 was a fair result because we we were sloppy. We weren't quite at it, and we could have come away with a loss. But as the saying goes, good teams find a way to get a result, and we got a result, and we bring it back to the Emirates. I think if you look at it, we save some players, and it's all about that rhythm. A lot of those players haven't played together since the last Europa or the FA Cup, so they're not used to playing with each other, and it's always hard to find a rhythm if you're not playing regularly with each other. But I think a fair result on balance of things.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, there's some much needed game time for Criora, and look, we know he's a young player with potential. I would say I'd put him in that aspect right now. We don't know a huge amount about him, in all honesty. It's one of those where you can see the potential and you can see what he could do, but he comes in for his first start, and look, we had to rotate players, and yeah, I think their first goal was a little mix up, wasn't it? Was it the first goal? Or was that the second goal?
Yeah, no, it was the first goal.
First goal, wasn't it?
Yeah,
first goal.
Yeah, the first goal for sure.
Yeah, I think either Turner called for it, or the incoming player called for it, and he ducked out of the way. But if it was Turner who called for it, then Turner should have come and collected. But
yeah, he looked at it, didn't he? And it was like it was one of those, and you could clearly see or hear a mind call. And I know from being a youth coach, that call doesn't really go too well, because there's 11 players that can go mine or whatever, and you know you're not owning it. But then when you suddenly see that ball come up and he's there, then all of a sudden he realizes that, hey, I'm not going to get there. The guy's rose like anything, and yeah, the young Polish defender is just pulled away and just turned off, and then the guy's just left with a little header into the net. But yeah, Desmond, how important is it to get these minutes into those legs of those players in the squad? Obviously, it's a squad game, and a lot of those players haven't had probably the game time some would expect players to have had. Obviously, injuries didn't help as well, that selection, because Odegaard and Tierney were off injured as well. Oh, sorry, out ill. What do you think about the selection yourself, Desmond?
Really, I think there are sometimes some kind of pressures, that come with selecting a team. Yeah, but I would like just to refer back to the Saliba situation that we had over a season ago. Yeah, guys were like, you know what, Saliba is available. Why are we struggling with centre backs? Saliba is there. Why are we sending him on loan? But I think in this kind of situation, we would like to maybe appreciate the fact that the coach knows much more than we do, because I know very many people would have been calling out for him to start these Europa League games. But then his performance would really show you that maybe he's not yet as ready as we think he is. Because as you said earlier, somebody called for that ball. And in my sense, maybe it was Matt Turner who called for that ball. There is no way on earth, not in a million years, that a keeper, a centre back, would not jump and attack a ball. It doesn't happen unless there's somebody who has called for that ball. And his body language at that point actually shows you that somebody called for that ball. Yeah, because he had to go and duck. And that doesn't happen with a centre back. The centre back would go and attack that ball and try to clear it, But then, for me, the selection is all right. I think even though the turnover of possession was not really as we would desire. But then this team has to play, because most of those players, we are going to need them. Yeah, when the games get tight and some injuries come in, the last 5, 6, 10 games, it's going to be really tight, and we need them. That is why we need to play them. You cannot have Kivio in that kind of situation, rusty. He hasn't played, he hasn't got minutes, and then he comes in and just, does what he did in the last game. So I think it's necessary that these players get some minutes, definitely. For Matt Turner, I think he in some sense is rusty, but he's also getting ahead of himself, with the distribution thing. At one point he actually put that ball back in a very, very dangerous situation. I don't know whether you guys noticed. There were many guys around the penalty box, and he just threw the ball back in there, and Sporting got the ball back. Those kind of situations, I think, getting rid of them comes with constant playing, comes with getting much minutes, and I think the players that we have on the bench are really good. I shared a tweet today of Simon Collins, who say, look at the bench that Arsenal have at this point in time. This is a bench that people would never imagine would happen. Gabriel Jesus, Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe. That is a brilliant bench. And I think Kivio is not even on the bench. I was actually surprised, So maybe some of them really need time. I know the fans are itching to see this guy, but the coach and the managers really understand the kind of situation where he is. And for me, our second team is good enough to go and challenge in the Europa League. It's just a matter of giving them more minutes, trying to get them, especially mentally, because I think most of that is mental stiffness. If they can get mentally right, if they're in the right state of mind, then they can go and do this. Because most times the kind of mistakes that we make, in some sense, is just because of mentally they are not there. Maybe the pressures are too much. You're looking at a situation whereby you need to play and hopefully challenge for a place in the Premier League. So sometimes as fans, we do not look at that. The pressure for these players to impress and get a call probably for the Premier League is quite high. So some of those mistakes are there, but the performance today, I think, shows that we are capable of doing this. We are capable of keeping those clean sheets. We are capable of playing the style of football, stifling and pinning teams back in and just taking the game away from them. So I wouldn't read so much into that game. I think we have more or less little to do at the Emirates, because it's going to be very hard for Sporting to play the way they played and get something out of that game at the Emirates. So I can't really read much into that, and I think we shall get the job done at the Emirates, definitely, because the Emirates is the Emirates now. It's no library no more. Teams that come there really have to get their act together. Otherwise, they are really going to get spanked. So, yeah, I think we can do it. We made it a little bit harder for ourselves to come back and do it at the Emirates, but I think with the team that we have, the players that are coming back from injury and illness, we have more than enough to dispatch Sporting, when they come to the Emirates. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think at home it's a different beast, isn't it? At the end of the day, I think that main objective was to get through that game with just recycling those players, because look, it is a squad game, and those players need minutes. And then there's fans crying out that, oh yeah, we need to play this player, this player, this player. But then when he does make some changes, it's still not quite what they want, and you want to give them those chances. But where else? It's the same with Smith Rowe, and you're suddenly thinking, yeah, he's got to be breathed in and just bled into the mix. But it isn't. You just can't just lump them in and suddenly just think they're going to do something cold. As we saw what was the game where he come back, Smith Rowe? There was the Bournemouth game, wasn't it?
It was a Bournemouth. He played 70 minutes, wasn't it?
And look, and then there was a huge thing about him being taken off as a sub, and you're suddenly thinking, well, that's not the real issue. He hasn't had a stinker. He's not had, you know what I mean? It's almost like people are trying to make something out of it for nothing, because there was no way he was going to be doing more than, say, 60 minutes of game time if he'd have started or whatever, and he would have come off. But he would have probably come on for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and that would have been all he would have probably have done, really, in all honesty. But just to see that kind of come out was it was a bit mischievous. I think it was pretty more the word with certain people. But but look, I'm going to go into the chat quickly because we're let's keep it relevant, because we're gonna have loads of chats here. Conversation Club, even in all, what a result! Yeah, fantastic. We'll go into it after this, but brilliant. Colin in the house. Let's do this. Ange is in the house, moderator. And I think she'll be keeping an eye on the ladies. I think, what time's the ladies kick off? Is it 7:30, or is it?
I thought it was 7:30ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got it on in the background, but all I can see is Jamie Redknapp. Not really.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't do much, does it?
No. Just go on here. Colin says, Trossard was brilliant today. And even in English, missed you on Thursday. God, little love in there. And Colin said, what you ended with regarding that lineup is precisely why Sporting first leg at their place, exactly the reason that 11 was wrong. Look, I don't. When you look at it and you do put it down and you say, you're going to rotate your keeper because, again, your reserve keeper's going to have to play. Then you've got Reece Nelson, who's come in after a nice display at the weekend. You're suddenly thinking he's earned that, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Everyone else coming in. Partey again. Slight question marks on how much game time he can probably do, just coming back and just kind of gently easing him through everything. Once he's had that kind of little knock, but whether or not, again, I look at it when it was 1-1, wasn't it? And then he brought on the subs at 70 minutes, and I suddenly I was seeing panic subs, and it's like, well, it's not really panic subs. It's not really like we're totally like at disarray and we're suddenly thinking we've got to suddenly just change it all up. And there are players there that have got to come in and they're just going to be ticked over for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Just because they're on the bench and we've got to use them, they're on our bench. Just because they're not playing doesn't mean, just because we're putting this side, we're not going to bother using them. You know what I mean? They're there if we need to use them, but also as and when through that game, we need to bring them on to tick them through again, keep them active and keep them relevant for the next game. So, I don't know. I don't really understand real problems on the lineup. Martinelli there, Saka there, Xhaka, Jorginho coming in again. Jorginho's probably deserved another start, and Vieira. Look, Vieira's got to play. He's got to get in. And I thought when he started even today, just diversing, he done all right when he come on. But apart from his fall over free kick, where he created his own foul, and the referee bought it. And we can't even get fouls normally, really, when someone clobbers us. Yeah, we trip ourselves up and we get a foul straight up. Fair play to that man.
Because we caused him the foul.
Yeah. We got penalised and then given it at the same time. Brilliant. But yeah, look, we had players there, and we got game time into them. So look, I'll be more worried if the next round we do that, or make those changes again, and maybe put that down again. It all depends on the league, doesn't it? At the end of the day, because again, you do still look at priorities.
You see, I don't think once we get to the sort of quarterfinal, semi-final stages, Arteta will mess around that much with that starting 11, because at that point you've got a serious chance of winning a competition. At a group stage 16, it's just a possibility, and especially with the clubs still left in there, you've still got Juve, you've still got Man United, and you still got some strong clubs. So you were just trying to get through this round, and then you see what you get next round and onwards from there.
Yeah, I think this is just an important part of also this season as well. And you're suddenly thinking, I know we talk about it's every 11, or all 11 games now are cup finals anyway. They've been cup finals from 15, 16 games. But this is quite important now. And you picture these next two games where you're suddenly thinking, if we can get 8 points, City have their cup little games. And look, when they come back, yeah, you got Liverpool, like we spoke about, and we suddenly thought, I think it's quite big that we get the 2 wins. We obviously 2 home games, 6 points, and that sets us up nicely for when we hit April, and then we go to Anfield. So there can be no slip ups in this little spell of games, and that's why I think maybe there was that kind of ear of on the side of let's just rotate it and just keep players a little bit more fresher, and then go and do it. Yeah, ideal world, we still want them to be machines, and we still want them to be going through. But look, we've seen today what quality we've got coming off the bench. Look, I mean, it's brilliant just to see like Jesus coming back on, and I mean, everyone seems to be coming back nice, and that's really important. I think, and if we can obviously keep that going and everyone fit and healthy, then we're in a real good position. So, yeah, Colin says, doing great. It's a wonderful life. It is a wonderful life being a Gooner at the minute. So, yeah, there's lots of smiles in the fan base. There's lots of walks down the street, like Desmond showed last week. How he's walking down the streets. How was it? How did it go again, Desmond? How was that walk? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's crazy here. You know, the kind of planter that we've been taking here is absolutely mad, and it's crazy that now these guys don't have anything on us. You know, they've been saying City is going to come, City is going to arrive. We are still waiting for City to arrive. When are they going to arrive? They are not arriving at this moment in time. You know, so it's as Peter Drury says, it's a good day to be alive, honestly, because Arsenal are doing us proud, surely.
No, definitely. John the Gooner is in the house. Evening Gooners, now you're going to believe it. We're going to win the league. Yeah, John, it's still there, still possible. Yeah, Colin's a good one here. I'm not even Arteta on loan anymore.
And you've got to give
Actually, very impressed with the chemistry he's built, and his talent idea is incredible. Look, if you've got a way of playing and you've got those targets in mind, and yeah, they're not household players, are they? In what you would, yeah, they wouldn't be your first choice ones, and this is what we were getting pelters for at the end of the day. And you look at it and you just think, yeah, brilliant. It suits his style. It does exactly what he wants it to happen. on the
And you've
contract.
got to congratulate Colin there, because he's been honest, and he said Arteta's changed my mind, and that's very good. But he's honest, and he seems. We know that Arteta's still got. He's made some mistakes this season, and he's still got to improve. But he is showing us that he is improving the squad and moving us in the right direction.
Yeah, no, I just look at it and the bigger picture. I just think the club have a direction, and that is probably just as important as everything else. Yeah, I mean, just that goes around. Contrast being Chelsea, where they've scattergunned and bought everyone again, and you just look at it and it's all over the shop, and you've got no understanding of what they're really or wanted to achieve. So no, it's good. You know what I mean? But look, I'd be hating to be going on here and speaking with Colin in the chat and aligning to his thoughts and his motions about Arteta being a learning and it not going right. I'm sure there's going to be times where we go through bad runs, like any team. But so far, mate, it's a beautiful year. So let's just enjoy it. It's brilliant. Emerson is in the house. Desmond and Paul, he played 45 years in the under-21s, and that was his first start when he signed in January. It's hard to say who made the call. Look, I saw the Chelsea game he played, and it was decent. He was knocking the ball around. Lots of viral clips on there anyway, on Twitter. But look, you've got to mix it up, haven't you? And Gabriel and Saliba can't play every single game, and we've got to give the game time to those players. So yeah, but I didn't really think he'd done too much wrong. In all honesty, I think the stills on the goal, and I was in London actually. It was my wife's birthday, so I was trying to get her to go to Lisbon for a little birthday break, and she weren't having none of it. So I had to resort to taking her to London, and so we were in a cocktail bar, and I had my little video on watching the game, and yeah, when I saw it, all I saw, I've obviously not really had any volume, was the defender just almost cowering away, and you saw almost like a grimace on his face, like he was going to get clattered, and he almost like he was just scared out of it to kind of get hit, and just turned away. But obviously, seeing it again on multiple replays, you do see that yeah, there was miscommunication. So yeah, nothing about the defender itself. I thought it was decent enough. But look, we weren't enough, were we? In those two games defensively, against Bournemouth and then Sporting. So I'm hoping today and then the coming games we're gonna start finding that ruthlessness and shutting teams out properly, and yeah, really breaking down those transitions when we lose the ball. So yeah, brilliant. But Conversation Club, where is the enforcer? I've locked him in the basement today. Des is out of the equation now. Des is ill. Sorry, I'm gonna change it around. He's not well. He's got man flu, and as men, we know how bad man flu is. It's not well. So, Conversation Club. If you want any requests for your mum, you'll have to ask either Desmond or Richard or myself, and or you'll have to wait till next week for the enforcer to come back. So yeah, all good. But that's where he is. He's tucked up in bed. Colin's probably put it quite good actually. Des is eating waffles. Bless him. Alex Alex is watching. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone.
Evening.
And yeah, John the Gooner. Big up Uganda Gooners. And Emerson, late score, 1-0, Kim Little penalty. I'm with Ange, watching in my flat. I thought it was on telly. I thought it was on Sky. Is it?
It should be, yeah.
Is it? Oh, I'm obviously on the wrong channel. Never mind.
It should have followed the Newcastle. It was after the Newcastle one. I know that. So.
Oh, okay. That explains it. Maybe I'm just delayed. There you go. But okay. Conversation Club. I agree with Colin. Desmond, you need to bring it, bro. I'm not sure you need to bring it.
What is that I'm supposed to bring anyway?
Bring yourself on the bottle.
Yeah, Conversation Club. I caught up with the Easy Talk with Alex. I thought he did a good job pushing Richard on Saka. What was that, Richard? I haven't watched the Easy Talk just yet. But
I think it's about the number of minutes Saka's got, and I said, well, you've got to look. He's one of three or four players there that Arteta can trust to do nearly 40 games a season. The other being Granit Xhaka and Gabriel, and is the other one. And so you are going to get players like that are a little bit more robust and can do more more minutes in the season than anyone else. You're not going to get a whole team do that, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to be pushed and questioned, and it's just an opinion, and it's good to have these conversations, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is definitely. I think obviously having the competition for Saka is obviously the main thing, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
And look, if someone comes in and can kind of do stuff when he's off the pitch, then great. I'm talking like a Trossard with say Martinelli's not doing anything, and then Trossard comes in on the other side. Then yeah, if we get one player that can do that on the right, then go for it. And that's what we're probably aiming for a long term. But look, Reece Nelson comes in and gets the game time and the game minutes, then potentially he has that opportunity, doesn't he? On either flank, in all honesty. Colin, I'm gutted with the League Cup and FA Cup exits. That's why I can't watch us drop from another competition, wondering what our best available 11 would have done. A reminder, we haven't won anything yet. Yeah. It's fair, but as I say, I don't class the lineups in certainly the FA Cup as being a total wrong decision. I don't know about you guys, Desmond. The FA Cup game against Man City. As I say, thought we were in that first half.
I really think that. Oh.
Go.
I actually think that game, it's one of the games that people do not look at critically, yeah? The ifs, buts, and maybes may be things we will talk about in some sense, but had Eddie Nketiah put away one or two chances, that would be a different game, So it's not about that maybe the guys didn't play well. As a team, we just gave away silly opportunities to the opposition. And then on the other hand, we were unable to take our chances. So, you can't play the same team for all the games. And we saw what happened a few weeks ago when we got that little blip. Precisely, Mikel Arteta was playing the same team each and every single time. And teams read into those things. Teams get prepared. Teams know it is Saka, Martinelli, this is how they are going to play. But once you have Reece Nelson coming in, he's going to bring something different. Once you have Eddie Nketiah getting out and Jesus coming in, it's going to be something different. And the quality of the player that is being replaced usually can't be 100% the same with the one who is coming off. So, in some sense, really, it's painful and stuff. I get it. I understand it. But as people say, it may sound cliche, but we have bigger fish to fry. 20 years, almost without winning the Premier League. That I would trade anything to win that Premier League.
Yeah.
And you guys, I don't know what bets you guys are making, but guys are here making bets in cows and goats and stuff like that. So I may have to collect, shortly in the next 2 months, I may have to collect some cattle and stuff, But at the end of the day, really, I wouldn't read so much into those defeats. They happen to everyone. You guys all know that Man City were looked at as the best team in Europe, favorites to win the Champions League, and they didn't, And Madrid, as Modric said the other time, whom everyone was saying this one is old, that one is old, that one is old, they came and just bossed everyone, So I wouldn't look at that. I think we can focus on the competitions that we are in at this moment in time, the Europa League and the Premier League. I think those two, we have real potent chance, actually, of winning those two competitions. And we could actually do a double. I was talking to someone about it and they were, saying, no, you can't win those two trophies. I was like, why not? Why not? Because I think the squad that we have right now, with the players coming back from illness and injury, is good enough to compete on both fronts. And look at the teams that are there. In the whole of Europe, I would just count 2 teams that are playing brilliantly. And, only Napoli would be ahead of us, maybe. So, with the way we are playing, we are able to beat any of those teams currently left in the Europa League. So, if we go ahead and win the Premier League and win the Europa League, I would become an astronaut. I would go to the moon and back because, that would be my wildest dreams, coming true. But then I think let us put that behind us and then focus on the competitions that we are currently playing in.
No, definitely. No, but yeah, I don't know. I was at that game, and that's what. Sorry, I was at the game at the Etihad, and we put in a performance that, even though we made 6 changes, we performed better than we did when we had a full strength squad at home. And yeah, you just look at it like that. It's one of those. They made changes, but we need to do it at certain points.
I mean, I would agree with part of what Colin said there, where we haven't won anything yet. I think when you go out, when you go out to a Premier League, another Premier League team in a cup competition, there's usually no disgrace in that. And in both those games, we had chances, and I think efficiency in front of goal has been our biggest problem this season. If we put the number of chances we've created away this season, we would have a very similar, or if not better, goal difference than Man City, and that would change the complexion of this race even more. But yeah, no one ever wants to go out. And my other thing is, I don't think you have a best 11. You have a squad of players, and you put your best set of players out for any given opposition, and that's how I see it.
Yeah. Colin followed up with Man City were coming into that FA game, FA Cup game with us on the downers. They were right pickings. I don't get that. I don't understand. Look, they beat Chelsea 3-4-0 in the third round, I think it was. Yeah, they lost to was it Southampton in the Carabao?
In the Carabao, yeah.
Obviously lost the Manc Derby against United. They beat Tottenham. They beat Wolves, and yeah, a 3-0 win against Wolves and a 4-2 win against Tottenham, and then come into our game. I'm not sure that is a real downward spiral. But look, that was a long time ago. Look, we have to play. We've selected sides to kind of do a job, and I thought we were close. We were close.
Yeah, I thought for 45 minutes or so, we were probably competing, and then just that moment of turning off when you've just got had to sub party and bring Lokonga on, and players aren't quite on that level, and we switched off, and those are the fine margins in these big games. City are still still the best team out there.
Yeah, we're not just talking about a Premiership team.
If you go 22 across 22 players, you're going to struggle to find a team out there with a better squad than they have.
Yeah, well, so we're not talking about just the Premier League team, are we? We're talking about the champions.
Yeah,
and a team that just replaced the goalkeeper. But look, we gave him a good game, and yeah, had it not been for say Partey going in the middle, as well as having to substitute Holding, who I thought had played well with Haaland. He got booked, but as I say, he was giving a good battle with him, and that was it. And until obviously, he got that yellow card, then he obviously had to come off because we couldn't take any chances. But yeah, that was January, and yeah. Before we move on, Desmond, I've got one question for you. Arteta doesn't win the league. Does he lose his job?
The thing with Arteta is, when he came, I wasn't really like this type of person who is saying no, he's not good enough. He shouldn't be the manager. We expect like Allegri or that caliber of manager. But Mikel Arteta came in and he has won a trophy. Even though what I'm going to say is just look at the Liverpool guys, yeah. It may be a little bit off, but it will give context to what I'm about to say. Liverpool fans are actually very bitter that we are challenging City to the title. They thought City was this juggernaut that nobody can challenge apart from them, yeah. But we're actually doing better than they ever managed to do, And if Arteta was to see this through, Arteta would have the same number of Premier Leagues as Jurgen Klopp. How amazing would that be? Yeah. Whether we win this trophy or not, I think Mikel Arteta has shown the credibility as a manager. The way he managed the Aubameyang situation, the way he managed the Ozil situation, the way he has basically changed the culture around the club, the work ethic. And I told guys who were watching that just look at our players, look at our forwards. They are actually taking more shots on their weaker feet. I don't think that is by coincidence. Saka has scored almost 3 or 4 this season into the roof of the net from his weaker right foot. That doesn't happen by coincidence. That is basically coaching. You know, the coach must be telling them, you know what, guys are going to watch you on your stronger foot. Try to go with your weaker foot, and you're going to catch them out. You know, he did it. Saka has done it. You know, so for me, whether Teta wins this trophy or not, he retains his job because he has a lot of credit in the bank. What he has done this season, trust me, nobody expected us to be in this position. Many people expected us to be languishing in fifth or sixth. Guys even wrote us off the top four. Can you imagine? Yeah. So for me, Mikel Arteta keeps his job. I don't think we should go back into that cycle of you haven't done this, so you should go. If that was the case, imagine we had sacked Mikel after finishing 8th twice. What would happen? Probably he would be off to Madrid, you know, winning a Champions League. So for me, Mikel Arteta is the man. As long as the Cronkies decide to invest as they have done in previous seasons, if they go ahead and give him the money that he needs, probably a Declan Rice and maybe some other 2 or so players, we are going to challenge. If we do not get it through this year, next year is still there, and I think Mikel Arteta is the man to do it. Trust me, I've been seeing coaches. You know what used to piss me off with Wenger? The time when you need a coach to stand up for your team, to be on the touchline and show some emotion. The guy is just pocketing and walking around, you know, trying to forge a fight with Jose Mourinho, an excuse of a fight. Mikel Arteta has turned, he has merged the fans and the club because there was a big gap between the club on one side, the fans on the other side. Fans are not interested in whatever the club is doing. You know, the Super League comes in and all that stuff, but Mikel Arteta has managed to bring this together. The team is young. Next year, they're going to be a year older. And with a year older, that means experience, you know. So for me, Mikel Arteta is the man for the job, whether he sees the Premier League through, whether he doesn't. Supposing he doesn't see the Premier League through, finishes second, and wins the Europa League, what happens? You know, so sometimes there are people who just want to put that situation that, yes, he hasn't won this, so fire the man. But that shouldn't be the culture because Chelsea have done it. They got a little bit of fun some years ago, but it's not happening the same way. So really, I think we should build a long-term culture. We should put in a manager for a long term. Let him implement the strategy that he has for the club in a long term, and then probably we can dominate the Premier League for 3, 4, 5 years, you know, before needing a rebuild. You know, so I don't think whether he wins the Premier League or not, I think Mikel Arteta is the man for the job.
Well said, Desmond. Richard, yes or no?
Well, I said there were bare minimums at the beginning of the season, and that was top 4, any of the positions in the top 4, 10 to 12 points closer to City and Liverpool. This was before we signed anyone, and a cup of some kind for him. And if we hit those targets, then he kept his job. So yeah, I think he, based on the season we've had so far, we keep with him because he's done. We're qualified for a Champions League. I can't see us not now. I think that's guaranteed. We've got a chance to get to a final of the Europa League, and after the Palace game, we're in the run-in for the Premier League, and we're still top of the table. So it's and there's another one there where Colin has said that he wants us to compete and that he wants us to go to the last few games. I think if we get to the City game and we're still 5 points clear, that's pretty good season, and we still competed. We still need to go to the end of the season to get over the line. I'd like to see that, but we know that City will keep trying to win games and keep piling pressure on. But I feel City are under more pressure because they know they have to score 5 more points than us. That means they have to keep winning in order to try and make us drop those 5 points.
Yeah, well, I think it's you've got the expectation from them because they've done it, but then also that they've obviously got to play catch up. And that's why I say these next 2 games are very important because makes.
If you look at that list, other than Liverpool and maybe Brentford on the last day of the season at the Community, they're not really. They're playing teams that are in and around that relegation zone, so you'd expect them to pick up points. We have the harder last sort of 10 games because we've got them, we've got Chelsea, we've got Liverpool and Newcastle. So we have a tougher set of games in that 10 running, but it's in our own hands. We can decide it for ourselves. We win it or we lose it. It's that simple.
Yeah, no, I'd say we all expect Arsenal to be competing. We know that, and I've said numerous times we're on that path where we can actually expect to be properly competing. Yeah, we're on the right path. This is still competing from where we were, and we know it is a tricky slope. And there's lots of other clubs that will be competing. And look, it's gonna be there. And look, we want us to do well, but we've also got to realise that we've got to make sure we take away that void of obviously not having that depth like, say, a City is. But again, it was different. But it's certainly different to the landscape when it was Arsenal competing at the top with Man United. You know, that was a different era where that was a whole kind of football world that was governed by clubs spending their own money. Yeah, own generated revenue. They were being funded the right way. Now you see the state-funded clubs coming in, the money saturated owners just coming in, blowing teams out of the water, overspending on players just to keep other players away from other teams. We've seen it with Chelsea. We've seen it again with Tom Bowley. And look, City have spent ridiculous amounts. And look, it's going to take time. Don't forget, we've had to reset the squad as well. We've literally had to rip it all up and rebuild from scratch again, from getting rid of players. So we now need to then start adding players up through the years. Well, certainly through the transfer windows, which we're doing, and we're seeing that kind of level now. So, of course, I'm a season ticket holder. I want to see Arsenal doing unbelievably well. I want to have those high standards, which obviously we're seeing. Yeah, if they have a bad performance, I'm going to say, yeah, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough for a team where we are. Then so be it. But that's part of being football, isn't it? In a football team, you're going to have those bad performances. But yeah, don't think of anything differently. You know what I mean? We all want that kind of end game, that top product, and that is the end of the season with a trophy. But
and to be honest, this season I think we can count on one hand the number of bad performances this team have had.
Yeah. No, agreed. Right. That is the chat room sorted for a little bit. So today, Fulham down by the river, and Craven Cottage. It was nice, wasn't it? Right from the start, Desmond. Comfortable first half, wasn't it? Really comfortable. It was almost eeringly too comfortable, and quite scary. What did you think?
Really, it was definitely a comfortable performance. So much far from what we expected. Everybody expected Fulham to turn up. Everyone expected this to be a narrow 2-1, kind of thing. Guys expected Mitrovic to come up and shine as he did in the first leg. He was sort of breathing down the neck of Gabriel in the first leg at the Emirates, and he got some joy out of it. But this time round, Mitrovic was anonymous, yeah? And I think I would like to look at it in this sense that probably the manager might have showed them some tweets and some videos about what content creators have been saying, because many content creators and pundits and the like, Sky and company, were saying, Arsenal cannot continue conceding goals. We're conceding too many goals. We're conceding chances. We're giving away balls. Man, today they absolutely locked up the shop. Closed, with a big padlock and the keys thrown away into Lake Victoria over here. Mitrovic didn't have any nip into the game whatsoever. Nothing. I think as Arsenal fans, we're a little bit spoiled of late. We when a performance is not so good, we like look back and we're like, is this happening? Because me personally, I have been used to performances like that we had against Everton, absolute domination. And you see, against Sporting, when the big boys came in, the game changed. Thomas Partey, Gabriel, the game changed. These guys are on another level, and Fulham could not, absolutely not cope with these guys, because Odegaard, absolute class. That guy, guys who are talking of Arsenal going for Maddison should hit on their chests and repent of their sins, because Maddison is no match for this guy. Absolutely no match. Trossard, beautiful, beautiful play. There was a time he chopped some guy there, in the Arsenal box like 2-3 times. What confidence does someone have to do that in their own box? Put the guy off, play beautiful pass, Zinchenko. Absolute class. This guy just seems to defy the odds week in, week out. For me, the expectation, all the rival fans were just on us, expecting us to drop points, and we absolutely shattered Man City hearts, because this is everybody was counting on for Arsenal to lose.
Yeah,
we have players that once played for us. Leno would turn into prime Oliver Kahn or prime James Lehmann. Willian would turn into, I don't know, some prime winger or something. But that was absolutely put to bed. And I just sat back and was watching this game, and I was very, very proud of the boys, because all that crap, all that talk that people have been having, they absolutely buried it with that performance. They were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I picture it still like the Leicester season, and I'm not saying that we are obviously the level of what Leicester were when they beat Tottenham to the title, and then Tottenham finished third, just to put that in for comical value. So it was a 2-horse race, and Tottenham finished third. Everyone was waiting for Leicester to lose games. They were all saying, "Oh yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. They're going to start losing games." And this is why I'm saying about Arsenal. Everyone thinks, "Oh yeah, we're going to lose game. We're going to lose game. We're going to lose game." Every single week, where we suddenly think, "Oh, they're going to drop points." I think Micah Richards had come out and said, "Oh yeah, City playing yesterday would have caused a proper kind of like mental kind of block on Arsenal players." And then, yeah, I think Paddy Power, a UK betting company, come out and said, "Oh yeah, it really looked like Odegaard was really mentally disturbed and worried by the way he scored his for the third goal." And it was just like little things like that, which just like really, really funny, because yeah, the media, everyone's crying out for Arsenal to slip up, and it's one of those, isn't it? It's just where, I mean, just got to keep going, and keep grinding out those results. Richard, what are your thoughts on there? I know you've said limited because you're working.
Yeah, well, I listened to it. I mean, my first thing is it's pundits, it's media, and it's other content creators are throwing out this illusion that we're defensively poor. Away from home, we've got a 0.69 conceding 0.69 a game. We've actually conceded 9 goals in 5 games, and that was 3 against United. It was 2 against Villa, 2 against Brighton, 1 against Everton, and I can't remember the other away game we conceded a goal. But we've kept 9 clean sheets away from home, and our biggest problem is at home, and we're only conceding 1.3 at home, to be honest. But I think that's more to the way we attack when we're at home to the way we attack at the game when we're away. We're more considered, we're more cautious, and which we keep it tight. Whereas when we're at home, we seem to be shackles off. But that game, the commentators were saying Fulham are poor today. This is the poorest they've been. I think we should have been given credit, because I think man to man, we just dominated them. Partey, Saliba at the back, and Gabriel at the back. When you look at Trossard and with 3 assists, Odegaard, and we could have had 7 or 8 goals in that game. And I think if that would be my negative, is that we didn't finish some of more of those chances. But yeah, you've got to take your hats off. That first half was so dominant that the game was over by half time. And you, again, Partey, was it for the? I think it was for the what ended to be the Odegaard goal. Ball up in the air and just by the centre circle, and the Fulham player looked favourite to win that ball, and he comes steaming in, gets a header, and sets off that attack, which ends with Trossard crossing for Odegaard to put away. And that's the sort of display you want. Fulham just couldn't live man for man with what we did. And then we go into the second half, people will say, "Oh, Fulham were better," but we won the game, and it was more about controlling, not conceding, and just seeing the game out. And maybe trying to hit Fulham on the counter. So I think we did that well enough in the second half.
Yeah, I looked at it, and it was one of those where we had the goal disallowed for VAR, which was a very, very tight one. I think they gave it on Martinelli's right arm or something like that, and it was like, well, it's just really weird. It was such. it probably was offside if you're going by that. But then, yeah, you're drawing a line on someone's foot or you're drawing off someone's knee. Then you're drawing it off someone's shoulder, and you're suddenly thinking, in all honesty, you're not really going to be scoring with your arm. Your shoulder's connected to your arm, but again, reality-wise, I think it would have to be something that's grounded, and that's a marker because really, where's the advantage? In all honesty, I'm not just talking about this being on Arsenal.
No, we've
only.
seen
I
it
think
plenty of times this season.
Yeah, it's across the board, and you just look at it and you just think, well, it's just a weird one. You know what I mean? It's someone leaning forward slightly with the shoulder or
I think
whatever.
Fulham had one disallowed against Liverpool, didn't they, earlier in the season, where his arm was up, but as he was running, and it's silly. Unless it's his shoulder and gone in, then I think you have to have a look at it. But if he's scoring with his feet or his head, the arm should be discounted. But this is where they have to have a look and use a bit of common sense. But it didn't cost us, and we sort of cranked it up from that point on. I think that disappointment actually spurred us on even more.
And this is what we've been doing, haven't we? So any kind of little setback, we kind of bounced straight back nice and quickly, haven't we? We've really gone into it, and look, they couldn't get out, and we were really pinning them back and really looked dangerous on Trossard's side. I thought Xhaka had a really good game. He was unlucky not to have scored when they played.
He had two glorious chances, didn't he?
Yeah, so it was one of those where, look, people say, "Oh, well, that's why we need to have an upgrade for him." But so look, at the end of the day, he's ticked that midfield around just like Partey. And Colin mentioned him here, and it just said, yeah, it destroyed just about every transition opportunity for Fulham. Yeah, a destroyer.
Yeah,
but look, Jorginho's not alone in the statement. He's not party level, but he's
think what we did. So there's a feedback here. So, I think what we did better today than we did at home was that we had Partey closer to Gabriel and Saliba, so we were winning all those second balls that were coming off Mitrovic. We were getting, and we allowed us to dominate the ball. So if they tried to play out from the back, we pressed and we closed them down and won the ball back up. If they were kicking it along to Mitrovic, they weren't getting any change out of it today, and that was probably what we didn't do when we played them at the Emirates. But Partey was simply awesome today. He was another level, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, it was really good. And I thought everyone there, Odegaard buzzing around. Let's say with Xhaka there as well. They were all really good performances, and the pleasing thing was just to see the players coming in as well to come on, get minutes, and that's all we need, isn't it? All we want to see is just players coming in and doing what they need to do.
And I also think we don't see Jesus if we're not 3-0 up. I don't think he puts him on, but because we're 3-0 up, the game's won, and it's a nice easy last 15, 20 minutes. He introduces him. So
yeah, no, was just really good, wasn't it? And look at it from a game perspective. If Fulham would have come out the same way as they did in the first half, Desmond, I'm going to go to you now on this. There'd probably be serious questions about their manager, in all honesty, wouldn't they? Because turning up for a London derby and putting in two halves that were as poor as each other. they'd probably in uproar. They'd be just walking out of the stadium, just totally, just frustrated. They had to step up, didn't they, in the second half? And I think they caused us a few problems with a couple of chances, hit the bar. What did you think of the second half?
Basically, I really wouldn't read so much into the kind of performance they had, because it is two different teams of two different styles, and the quality is just there. The difference is there to see. You really cannot blame Fulham, and I'm sure their fans really know that this is an Arsenal team that is top of the league. They are playing some of the best football in Europe. So you can't really read so much into that. For them, beating Arsenal would be a bonus. Yeah. They would go back and look at themselves and be like, well, we'll beat some other teams. We'll beat maybe, say, Brentford. We'll beat Southampton. We'll beat, some of the bottom teams. Those days when we were really doing badly, there are some teams we would never beat. We would try to beat Liverpool. Liverpool destroyed us several times. Manchester City destroyed us several times. And once you understand where you are as a team, there are things you will learn to appreciate. So the Fulham, basically Arsenal, they couldn't do anything useful with probably the possession they had. They couldn't get out, basically. So to count it as a bad day in the office, pick up their remains and go again, because this Arsenal team has come from far. They have built, and the quality difference is definite. So they shouldn't really look at that.
Oh, I think he's froze. Yeah, he froze.
Believe me, Brickman. we got a freeze frame there.
Yeah, no.
I hope someone's not screenshotted that. That's a proper win.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I weren't saying that it was. Yeah, again, it was like.
Well, you got to think, before us, what was it? Man United, Newcastle, and West Ham. And the Newcastle game, they went down to 10 men quite early in the game, which was, it was Tottenham, wasn't it? But Man United and Tottenham only just beat them, and the only real drubbing was the Newcastle 4-1. But as I said, in the Newcastle game, so
you knew
they played.
You would get into them, wouldn't you? You knew the manager would kind of get in, correct a few tactical kind of things to make them harder to kind of break through and get through the lines. That's it, and it's it's one of those. You said we played fantastic in the first half, and that you can't take away from that. But like you said, the media don't like giving us credit because it happened away to Brentford, where Brentford were sleepy. They hadn't woken up. It was a bad day at the office for them when we beat them 3-0 at their place. But it's happened numerous times. It's not Arsenal. It's not Arsenal playing well. It's the other team playing badly. And it's something we've got to live with. Well, we've lived with it for so long. So, yeah, it is what it is. But, let's have a quick look again. I think there's issues with Desmond's internet at the minute, so he's going in and out. Aaron says, "Love these boys and a couple of oldies." Colin, Alex is going to throw shade on my man now. There was a nice comment actually earlier on, and we go back to Arteta losing his job. Ange says, well, if he does win, then a statue along with Xhaka as the club legend, then the two legends together. No. Tongue in cheek.
No, but they've got to do a lot more than that, haven't they? But if they go on to win a double, that's a very good start. That's three. That'll be three trophies in 3.5 years for Arteta, and that's not bad for a rookie manager. We still got to get there, and we got to take it game by game. But we're on the right path.
That's it, exactly. Colin, Jesus on Sunday, Richard. It was simply biblical.
Yeah, it was.
yeah. Look, he looked sharp. There was some good little stuff that he linked up well with, the little pirouette turn to set up the move with Vieira. Another. Sometimes you can find that one-on-one kind of finishing a little short as Jesus, where he does find the keeper a bit more rather than, and that's why I think he doesn't get the goals that he deserves, probably because he does almost find the goalkeeper. But look, he'll be not sharp, and if he's getting in those chances and they're getting that kind of chance, he's going to start taking them. Yeah, I thought I was really impressed with actually how well we actually done, because there's the confidence level as well, isn't there? You're suddenly going in for tackles and you're suddenly worrying about what happens if I do get proper physical tackle. Will my knee take it? And you'll always have that little doubt in your mind where you suddenly think, yeah, is my body going to take it? So it's pleasing to see that, because I certainly think that was a couple of weeks ahead of schedule. That I think I pictured him down to be around the Liverpool game. So this little break now, going into internationals and the games up until that point, will be quite good, because he'll be ready for that Liverpool game at Anfield. So yeah, pleasing on that side. Colin on the chat, defensive corners are still leaking a bit. Defensively need to improve there. Yeah, again, I think people are trying new stuff out on us as well, aren't they? When you look at us trying to deal with threats in the corners, again, we do have to be stronger. We do have to manage those a bit better. But I think overall, we've been decent from the corners. But as I say, it is something that probably is a bit alarming, because recently it has been set pieces, and it's not just corners, is it? It's the free kicks, and just being secure. Richard, I think that's probably it. I think regards to
I
goals,
think it's down to concentration as well sometimes. Yeah, but on the other hand, we're also in the top 5 teams for scoring from corners as well. We've got 12 now, alongside Fulham and Liverpool, and the such. So it swings and roundabouts. And you're always going to concede the odd goal here and there to set pieces, especially if you've got, when we're not the most dominant physically defensively. I mean, Saliba's tall, but he's not built like a brick shithouse. And Gabriel's the only other one quite. So we're not the most commanding physically at the back, but we have done well in certain cases. But just recently, it's been a bit loose, and we do need to tighten it back up again. And I think we saw that today.
Yeah, no, definitely. I suppose we should just go in about Thursday now. Obviously, the return. Similar side to the first leg.
Possibly yeah. I think we give Martinelli a rest. You've got or some rest. Again, I think you see probably Jesus for about 20-30 minutes in the second half. Probably another maybe Trossard in for Martinelli with Reece Nelson and Smith Rowe. Just and you have Martinelli and Saka on the bench if you need them. You possibly start Partey from the start, give him 45 minutes, get the game won in that first half, and then go second. Then go in the second half, rest and think about that Palace game. But
yeah,
what I'm not wanting is that I'm not wanting extra time and wearing ourselves out.
Yeah, because there's no away goals now.
No.
So yeah, that kind of thing where you're suddenly thinking, okay, that always our Achilles heel recently. Certainly playing the second leg at home, we've lost it on away goals, haven't we? And it's just you just look at it like that. Desmond, what do you think about that? Do you think he's going to go strong? I think he's going to go strong on this one, just to make sure.
Yeah, basically, I think he will have to go strong because for me, back in the day, we used to see coaches play the first team they usually play in these competitions. And once the game is done, then they make those substitutions. Yeah, you would have a Thierry Henry on. Once the game is 2-3 up, then you bring him off and then put in the guy who needs to play, But now it looks like it's the other way around. They would put in this guy, and then when things fail, big guns, which I think sometimes puts us at a disadvantage, So I think what Mikel Arteta needs to do is not to take chances with these guys because it's a do or die. It's one game. You can't mess around with it. So play the team. Make sure you suffocate these guys in the first minutes. Get some early goals maybe. And then rest your players because it's the same thing basically, being not able to break down a team and then bringing in the Sakas and Martinelli and the likes of those. Why don't you do it at the start? And probably Kivio wouldn't be so bad if he was played next to, say, Saliba, in the Premier League with all the rest of the players there. But then if the whole team is changed, basically a lot of changes, it puts also some of those players at a disadvantage, because they are playing with maybe probably their level or even lower, So for me, Arteta should go strong, sort this game out in the first half, 2-3, and then rest the players that he needs to rest.
Yeah, I think this is the one that you would go and start with it. And if you obviously have a fast start, then you've got 5 subs to then literally take off down the line and manage the game. Interesting what you said about the lineup and the quality. That was my argument with Nketiah. Whereas his game time would be when kind of substitutions have been made, and he'd be playing against teams that where we'd have the drop off and we wouldn't be as good as when we were full strength, and you'd then be expecting him to have scored goals. But then that team hasn't got the full control like we normally have with a full strength squad or a full strength team out on the pitch. So I understand that, but I think it would be silly to underestimate it. The challenge in front of us on Thursday. So I would say go strong, and then as soon as you can, a couple of subs at half time to take off a couple of the proper important players for Sunday, and use all 5 subs and make sure there's rotation. But needs to be done and get through into the next round. But it's going to be a tough game on Sunday. Emerson, credit goes to our defensive coach on the first 2 goals as Fulham tried to play zonal marking. Look, this guy's done really well.
Nicola Jova, isn't it?
So been really good, and it just shows this is part of the culture change and the whole kind of change of the philosophy and how the club's being run, and it's a lot more stable in the certain units that need attention. I think more to the point. Emma says yes, Saka needs to be rested for the match on Thursday. And look, I said earlier, when you've got, say, like Reece Nelson, that is now probably crying out for minutes, then you've got to give him a go and you just let him play. And then if Saka is on the bench, he can come on 10, 15 minutes just to keep him ticking over. And a little bit of application, a little bit of movement in his body, and then he's ready for Sunday. It's not going to be taxing too much on him, but it'd just be nice to freshen it all up. So, predictions. Thursday.
2-0.
3-0 to Arsenal, I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's good. What about you, Des? Are you? What's your prediction for Thursday, Desmond? He's back, I think.
I think it's going to be definitely an Arsenal win, and I don't think Sporting will be able to even get a goal. So I'm going for a 3-0 in favor of the Gunners.
3-0. Yeah, well, if it's 3-0, then I'll be very comfortable in the stadium on Thursday. So, yeah, so that'll be nice. Going on to Sunday, Palace. It's going to be a tough one, isn't it? Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I watched them against City, and I thought they were poor. They had a good defensive shape, but to be honest, they didn't get forward much. They struggled really poor, and that's their third game without registering a shot on target. And if they come in that form and play like that, I think we'll turn them over. It's just whether he can get them in the week improvement, and I don't see how you can where that improvements come. I think they're at the moment thinking they're safe and cruising to the end of the season. I think that's their biggest issue, and how he gets over that, I've no idea. I was looking at about a 3-1, to be honest.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Patrick Vieira sets them up. What do you reckon, Des? What's your prediction?
Palace, frankly, just broke my heart. You know, I was watching that game intently. You know, I expected them to maybe see the draw out, but you shouldn't be a footballer, for goodness sake. You should just try maybe farming or I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how some of these guys are professional footballers. The amount of counter-attacks you killed for Palace it was amazing, man. You know, so nah, I don't think they have what it takes to get anything out of us. So I don't think they'll get a goal. I don't think they will trouble us in any way, shape, or form. So I'm going with the same scoreline, 3-0.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, I think it will be something along those lines of 2-0 or like a 3-1. Again, it all comes down to that start, isn't it? On both of these games, in all honesty, the longer the game is, say like level, the more cager it will be, and I think more kind of like nervy we kind of become, or twitchy certainly for the Palace game, because again that pressure will be right on us. We know the expectation, we know the end result on it all, isn't it? And I mean, there's no mistakes in these two games. So yeah, start early, start fast, get that good tempo, and then the game will manage its. Well, the game won't manage itself. We've got to manage it. But look, much better to manage the game once we've got a high tempo and taking control of the game. So, yeah, I'm hoping for 3 wins now. That's all I'm going for now. Sporting, Palace, and then Leeds.
I would like to point out that we have three attacking players in the top 10 for goals. No other team has that.
It's really pleasing how much we're spreading goals out, and this is what gives me belief that Arsenal will carry on doing what they're doing, and we wouldn't have the real drop off like we've seen with City with their kind of performances, and not so much that they've dropped loads and loads of points. They've only drawn one more than us and lost one more of us, haven't they? So it's only we're obviously very similar, but as I say, those games that they have dropped points, of which we wouldn't have expected them to have done, have been because you keep that big man shut, the robot. The guy is just doesn't seem like he was human when he comes to the Premier League. So yeah, I don't know. It's really pleasing to see goals from everywhere, and that was kind of something like what City would have done 2-3 years ago, or from last season and beyond, where they would be scoring goals from midfield. But yeah, look, it's been a bit more concentrated on that striker. So yeah, seize the moment and let these guys keep scoring, because yeah, it is a team game, and yeah, we need as many dangers as possible to keep knocking in the goals. So yeah, can't wait. I'd almost want to just fast forward now to April and just kind of get it on with, because we know it's. You know what I mean? You picture Liverpool away. You picture we got a couple of games. We got a game in between them. I think it's Southampton at home. I think we're playing on a Friday night. Then we play Chelsea, I think it is, and then it's Man City away. And it's those 2 games. I think Man City got to go to Southampton, which wouldn't be a shoo-in. I wouldn't be putting a lot of. Sorry, I'm just. I got cramp in my toe.
Yeah, right. I mean, Southampton have already beaten at the Dale this season, haven't they? So they beat them in the League Cup. So
you look at it like that. That's at a time where I think I'm trying to work out what it is, where they're playing. But it's a very pivotal. I know they're playing ahead of us 1 week, and then it changes over, and you're just looking at it like that, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be exciting once you hit those kind of games. But what is it? March. Yeah, so Crystal Palace obviously is our last game in March. Then we hit April. So Leeds.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Before City play another Premier League game, we could be 8 points clear. We play
Liverpool. We play Liverpool away after Man City go to Southampton. So if Southampton pick up any result, then that game, as difficult as it's going to be, and I know Liverpool are not the Liverpool that they have been, but look, Man United thought they were Liverpool of, you know what I mean, just go there, roll up, and be really confident, and then look what happens. So they have got the potential to ruffle some feathers and actually play some decent stuff and take chances. So it'll be a very tough game. We know that, but that's 2 pivotal weekends, I think, when you look at it like that. So you have that one, and then you have the following week. So we play West, the Etihad. They play, I think it does. Play Leicester at home, and then yeah, man, we play West Ham City on the following Wednesday. So yeah, my nerves are gonna be ruined.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's so much football. There's so much football to be played on that side. So yeah, Emerson has said 3-1. I think that's edging its bets on both games. I'll put that down for both for the games. 3-1 for all of them. I wouldn't care. 3 points. 3 points are 3 points. And Emerson, yeah, we have to approach the same way we played against Fulham down Crystal Palace wingers. Yeah, look, it's more about us and the tempo. Start fast and really get at them to stop them playing out, and yeah, nullify Sahar. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. It will be interesting, but yeah, they've not been as good as they were last season. Palace, I thought at times last season, I thought they were quite decent, but yeah, this year they've kind of curtailed off a little bit. Yeah, Emerson, yeah, the Arsenal ladies are 4-0, so yeah, doing well. So I think that is it, everyone. Sunday show done. An hour and 36. We've gone back up. We're trying to hit the hour barrier. We got to stop going into Lord of the Rings kind of level of shows, over 2.5 hours, 3 hours. So
but
yeah,
it's because
thank
chat's
you.
so lively, isn't it? It helps when chat's so lively, which must be good for us for the analytics.
Yeah, no, definitely. But no, good to have you both on.
Oh, thank
Desmond,
you.
good to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
I'm hoping to have you on again soon. But yeah, lovely today. Yeah, let's keep going on to Thursday and then beyond. And then yeah, we'll be back on for next week's show, hopefully, with some good news. It's Mother's Day as well in England.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you celebrate Mother's Day, Desmond?
Yeah, sure, we do. We usually do. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, Mother's Day. We'll have to. I've got to try and work it. I've got to try and work out some way of getting to the game or seeing the game and seeing the mum. So yeah. So yeah. But look, yeah, it's been in the North Bank and kind of for the TV, the big Sunday show. Thank you, everyone in the chat room. It has been good. It has been lively, and there's been good stuff. So, yeah, thanks for everyone for getting involved. But yeah, I'm off to stretch my legs out and yeah, try and get rid of this pain. But yeah, have a good week, everyone, and come on, you Gunners.
Come on, Gunners. Stay
See you
safe.
later.